Welcome back to We Are Listening, the podcast dedicated to bridging the gaps between wellness seekers and providers. I'm your host, Pulkit Garg, and in today's episode, we embark on an exploration of two interconnected facets of human experience: life's purpose and relationships. As we navigate through the complexities of finding meaning in our lives and cultivating fulfilling connections, get ready for an engaging discussion that touches the very essence of our existence. And I would like to welcome Sangita ji to our podcast.
Thank you, Pulkit. Happy to be here.
We are glad to have you. So, Sangita ji, before I would like to also understand we are going to be talking about life's purpose and relationships. But often, many people are not very clear on the meaning of purpose. Like, if I go and ask
Mhm.
my friend, or even if somebody comes and asks me, what is my life's purpose? I would not be able to, put it out in a very clear, articulate manner. So, can you help our listeners with
Correct.
that?
Yeah, sure. So I have this, challenge because everybody, like you, same, similar to what you are voicing out, we have given this whole image of something grand when we talk about life purpose. Even when we have all these Miss World, Miss India, Miss Asia, Miss Universe, towards the end, they ask, like, if you win this, what is it you're going to do? And it's always something grand, like, I'm going to alleviate poverty, I'm going to work for, something really grand. And when we talk about purpose, the people who come to mind are Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, really huge purposes. So we really get, I feel somewhere that we are stuck with those ideas or images of purpose, right? So a life purpose can be something as small as, and I don't mean to say small as in, the grandiosity of it. I mean, as simple as, and I think I'm sorry for using the word small, as simple as I'm going to be a homemaker and I'm going to make this home of mine a warm place. This is what will fulfill me, right? So it can be as simple as that. Like people might say, what, how can this be your life's purpose? Now, if this is what is fulfilling and this is what is giving meaning to that person's life, then that's the life purpose for that person. Right? Now, this can extend to bigger things. It can go on to, I'm going to, work with, stray dogs, and I'm going to make sure that, all of them are free from rabies. It could go on to something bigger, that I'm going to have a startup and it's going to go in the Forbes, list, whatever. It can be, something very on a very small scale, going up to a large scale, right? So I think it's different for different people. Yeah, that's the work I really am very engaged and passionate about, doing that, in breaking these myths that purpose is something that has to be grand.
I totally relate with that. The positioning we always see around purpose or anybody, achievement. So somewhere or the other, that sets the standards for the other person to make it their life
Yeah,
purpose around that. And that should not be the case. We all are born with
yeah,
our own innate qualities or innate capabilities, and we should be measured. I would not say measuring, but be realistic and about our life's purpose. And what are your thoughts on this? Am I right in saying this?
absolutely, absolutely. So there should be an internal understanding of what is it that I'm good at, what really fires me up, right? What makes me happy, right? And then set out for it. Does not matter what are the societal conditioning, what is it that your neighbor is, talking about. So it's a lot of pressure that people are facing in terms of life's purpose, finding their life's purpose. But I think the radar or the compass should be inside. What is it that you are feeling passionate about? Like, both of us are here today because we are passionate about something, and it might not really be going global. I don't know if it's going global, but I'm just saying that, we are here because this is our life's purpose. Now, whether 100 people connect to it or 100,000 people connect to it is different, right? So definitely I agree with you, Pulkit.
I was listening to Mr. Ishtiyaq Ahmed, who was, and I was listening to him when
Mm-hmm.
he used to hold the position of CSR India head for Coca-Cola India. And in one of
Mm-hmm.
the talks I was listening of his, he mentioned that an individual or a human being is born twice. Once the day he or she is
Yeah.
actually born, and the second birth happens when
Yes.
he or she discovers their life's purpose. So that has really
That's
helped
beautiful.
me
Yeah.
navigate my path till now.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'd like to bring in, as you can see, I'm very passionate about biography birth. So I'd like to say that the physical birth happens there, right? When you are born, you're out of the womb and you are out into this physical world. And then there is so much of conditioning that's coming to you from the environment, right? From your parents, from the school, from society, the culture you're born in. And as you're growing older, uh, it's an opportunity to let go of those conditionings and become who you truly are. So as you're growing older, it's almost like you're shedding those branches which are not you, and you're becoming who you are. So I feel that is what the second birth he's talking about, is becoming who you are, who you want to be, who feels fulfilled and happy being this. Thank you for sharing that. That's really beautiful.
So I would just like to ask one thing on this, and that takes me to my next question. When we talk about the life's purpose, and we just talked about that we should be making a life's purpose basis the innate qualities and capabilities we have and what we are actually passionate about. Not saying that we should be keeping our targets short, but be aware of
Mhm.
things and managing. But at the same time, how do we align it with the expectations or the life's purpose that our loved ones define for us? So how do we bring in that alignment while maintaining a loving relationship with people around us?
Yeah, that is a very, very challenging task because it also depends on who you are as a person, your personality, right? There might be some who are so clear on what I want to do, and this is my life purpose, and I'm doing this irrespective of what, the other stakeholders in my relationship think about me, or what is going to be the state of my relationships. And there might be some who are really not willing to take the risk of letting go of those relationships. So then you have to walk this, fine balance of keeping yourself happy and keeping the others happy, right? However, when we have good conversations, when we are able to communicate, here I would like to bring in this aspect of vulnerability where I can be vulnerable and talk to my loved one, talk to the other, stakeholders in this relationship, and convey to them how important this is for me and how it's important to our relationship also, right? Like, if I'm fulfilled in myself as a human being, as an individual, then I am more giving, more, I'm better in my relationships with the outside world, with the people around. So I think it is a very, very individual space. You can't just say that, one formula fits all, that, okay, people around you, if they're not accepting of this purpose of yours, just, walk away. It depends on how important that relationship is with you. And I always feel when you talked about this word alignment, if we can bring in some way of aligning those people around us to understanding what life's purpose is. Because if the person, let's say maybe a parent or a spouse, is somebody who's close to, even completely closed and rigid in understanding this, then that's a very difficult task, because it's a very painful thing for me, because I want to fulfill my life's purpose, yet I want to keep this relationship. So, yeah, I would say bring them on board as much as possible. And then that would really help the relationships flourish also. Because maybe they will find, some fulfillment in some spaces. And then it's like, two oak trees growing next to each other. They are, really growing big and tall and enjoying and being fulfilled and expressed. And yet they are very secure, because even in their relationships.
I was recently listening to or viewing a story of Arjun Nilakshi over Instagram. And over there, she was
Mm-hmm.
sharing an anecdote from her life about communication or managing conversations between relationships. And I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
how it happens in the global scenario, but talking about the Indian families, often when we try
Mm-hmm.
bring on board our loved ones, parents, or spouses on the direction of our life's purpose, it ends up getting
Mm-hmm.
into a chaotic conversation or quarrels to an extent that people don't eat food or XYZ. How do we really
Right,
navigate
right. Yeah.
this communication part, for our life's purpose to our loved ones?
So, like you just mentioned, having these conversations is a starting point. However, if the other parties are not willing to move from where they are, then it really helps to bring in, a third person, somebody who can be neutral. And, it like, you hear about now so many people going for coaching, therapy, counseling. There's family counseling that's happening, family coaching that's happening. So I think if you are coming to a space of stuckness and not able to do it, then reaching out for somebody else who can come as a neutral person, that has shifted many perspectives. Because we are, when we talk to each other as in our roles, like as let's say a mother and daughter, then I'm coming from the emotional space. I'm so emotionally charged that I'm not able to get out of that and see the full picture. So I think bringing in outside help, even if it is not a professional, but somebody who's seen more as a neutral party, I think that would be a good way to break that for now, and then they can take it up on their own also going forward. Yeah, bringing in outside help interventions definitely helps.
Got it. We have been talking about individuals for a long time. Let's also touch upon a bit on the purpose of organizations. We have seen that
Mhm.
a lot of organizations with strong purpose, they outperform their competitors and probably are known for ages to come. And we have seen multiple success stories
Mhm.
around this. So my question is basically, how can organizations actually foster a sense of purpose and communicate it in a manner that employees also make it align it or add it to their purpose as well, for making that organization a
Mhm.
stronger firm out there?
Yeah, I'll give a very simple answer to this. Organizations are now, I feel more and more of them are definitely focusing on the human side of growth. It's not just the competencies and the skills, but also on the human side. So I think it is very important for the organization to focus on the development of the individuals. Once they are able to come to a space where they are understanding of the human being, the own self, then slowly moving beyond that into the space of teams. So just expanding in a very organic way. I think then the people who are working there, the employees, the teams are feeling like, okay, I belong here. So that creating that sense of belongingness, and then I'm open to listening to, okay, what is the vision of this organization, what is the purpose of this organization? Can I just go beyond doing what is asked of me and just doing it as just another job, to actually being a part of this community of this organization? So I think that building from the inside out and focusing on the human aspect of every stakeholder in the organization, I think that is a huge thing that can really help.
I believe that's going to be really helpful, for our listeners who are running an organization or are at senior positions. Can you help me also understand, and our listeners, how can biography work help in discovering one's life purpose?
Yeah, definitely. So, in the work that I have done with individuals, I have seen that, like I was talking about this in the earlier episode, we are so busy swimming in the river of life, trying to maneuver all the boulders that are coming, the heavy currents, and everything that's coming in a way, that we are really losing sight of where did we come from? What was it when I was, in this phase of, let's say, in this phase where I was moving out of my small family life, the school life, college. whatever, when I was stepping out onto the stage of the world, what was it that fired me, that made me happy, that really gave me joy or fulfillment? And however, due to outside expectations, outside pressures, or in this pressure of building a family, making a home, getting, reaching a certain standard of life, whatever, I have been so busy that I have really lost touch with that particular kernel that fulfilled me. So when we do biography work, we start from very young, but we go back, right up to the time, you were born. And then from there, we are every year chronologically, we are, talking about what event happened. And around that event, what was it that you experienced? It's not about others' perspective. What did you experience at that time? So, in going through this process in a very, very structured manner, you come to understand what was it that gave you joy, that fulfilled you. And now, if you're feeling stuck and you feel, okay, this is great, I'm really at a good space. However, I would like to stretch beyond this. I would like to really do something more. This is not good enough for me. Then connecting with that from your past, saying, okay, let's say somebody loved to play cricket and wanted to make that a career and was not allowed or didn't do it, pursue for whatever reason. Now, let's say I'm 42 and I recognize that because of my physical shape that I'm in, physical age that I'm in, I cannot now start, doing this on a bigger scale. However, what from that excited me, what from that was that element that made me feel good about myself? Can I look at that closely and then see whether it is cricket or in something else? Can I pick that up? And then that becomes, it might turn out to be a hobby. It might just be something that you pick up as, oh, I like doing this, I'm doing it. And in exploring that, it can become something you are very passionate about. So it's more about exploration of what was it that you really let go of in this business of living life, and now can I pick it up? Can I really, really look at it in such a way that it now I can bring it into my life as something that will play a substantial role? Now, not having to meet other people's expectations, can I now meet my own expectation? Right? So that is how biography work helps me to come to an understanding of my life's purpose. What fires me? I like to call it what really fires me. When I think about that, as you can see, when I talk about biography work, I can't stop, talking because it
Yeah.
really fires me up. Right? So to understand what fires me and then see how can I balance it with, there might be certain, constraints around it. Maybe I have to bring in a salary for my family. I have to bring in money for my family's, upkeep, look after them, all that. So I can't just quit my job and follow my passion. But how can I integrate that with where I am today? Can I do it during my free hours? Can I slowly do it as something that I'm building up for the next 5 years? So, yeah, various ways of doing it, depending on where you are in your life.
That's really helpful. And listeners, we would really love to hear about your life's purpose and what really fires you up. And if you have any queries while you're working on this exercise where you try to, with the information and knowledge Sangita has shared with us today, try to work on your life's purpose, please feel free to, put it in comments or DM us with it. We would be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Sangita, any final thoughts on life's purpose and relationships for our listeners?
Yeah, sure. Since you have put these two in the same sentence, I would say that if I'm fulfilled as an individual, as who I am, if I found I wouldn't even say not just even if I've not found my life's purpose, if I'm feeling fulfilled in myself, then I am more fulfilled in my relationships with others, with the world around me, with everything around me. So I think it's important that we really, look at this whole area of life purpose and see what fires me and work towards it.
Thanks a lot, Sangita. Thanks a lot. Listeners, please stay tuned
Thank
for
you.
more such episodes with Sangita and other wellness experts we are hosting on our platform. Thank you.